There is almost no biographical information about the vigilant and thoughtful prophet Habakkuk. The only detail about his life is found in the last verse of the book, which indicates he may have been a temple musician, and humble at that. I'll have these listed, Habakkuk 1 through 11 and 3:19. The position in has significance, like the keys of David, praise and worship. The second thing, it wasn't about personal things or the person, but what God did through the prophet by his power. Our paths do have an effect and on how God builds us up, but it's ultimately his precepts, his magnificent love, his power within blessings and everything to follow a relationship with him that make us who we are. Habakkuk could not understand why God was allowing people to spin out of control. I mentioned, why wouldn't people work in unity to survive in given position? Also, a free will and a lack of good choices upon life, most choosing evil, and famine, lacking preparation for that time to come, often being warned. Anyway, Habakkuk saw God's people embracing sin, injustice, and violence, although they should have known better. Well, that's why they missed the signs. He wanted God to correct and punish Judah, but God answered. His answer was not what he expected to hear, judgment being prepared against God's people. By choosing of the people, the 7 sins, and with chastening, allowing happenstance. The Lord was going to use a wicked nation, the Chaldeans of Babylon, to bring judgment on Judah. At least 2 lessons emerge from this section of Habakkuk. God has never rejected the honest questions of his people. When we look around at the world and see good being called evil, we can be honest with God about how confused or upset we are. And this is just how confused I am. Is it because of jealousy or the discipline that we have and the shining out in God's knowledge, or the shortcomings of being human and it being edified? Is it because of what's been done against commandments? How do you typically respond when God is not responding to your prayers in the way you expect? I think the details, what we mentioned, matters. The restoration of the lungs, or the clearing of pathways in the bowels, or of, different significant details. I think it's by faith, right? Hebrews 11 talks about by faith. And then also Matthew 17:20 talks about how just a little faith can move mountains. Fervent prayer, importance of it, the depths of our spirits. Psalms 34:18, he's close to those who are crushed in spirit. The timing and choices, the patience in suffering, which is generally James 5, and then also the righteous heard in James 5:16. It talks about fervent prayer, his word, according to his will, to have it properly aligned. All right. Well, thank you guys.